Hello, Cancer. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Cancer is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. It is totally free, doesn't cost anything. If there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Cancer, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. We start with the Princess of Swords. This could be a younger female energy in your life right now, okay? But this is also an energy that is, I think, determined, right? I think that there is, there's a learning experience going on. Yeah, there's something that we have to admit we don't really know, right, about it, or we don't know how to handle it, or we don't know really what to do, but we're trying. This is a card of applying ourselves to the best of our ability and realizing that there are more things I have to learn if I'm going to navigate this situation properly. We're trying to cut our way through the jungle here and realizing that we sort of need to grow and evolve and develop the skills that are going to allow us to get through this jungle, right? And to get to whatever destination is out there for us. So let's put this card into a little bit of context. I'm curious if there is a younger female energy in your life. There may be a family member. We have a Six of Cups, Six of Wands. We have a Five of Cups, and we've got the universe itself, or the world. We've got a Three of Swords. Okay. Yeah, this is, in some ways, I feel like there's somebody that's trying to make amends with you, right? Because I feel like there's something about the past, some kind of an upset that you experienced in the past related to this younger female energy. And I feel like they're trying to sort of come back around and they're trying to patch things up with you. But it's kind of difficult for you to let go of what happened. There's that Empress card. Okay, well, it could be a child of yours, right? Got an Eight of Pentacles, a Nine of Pentacles, and the Sun card. Okay. Clarity, enlightenment. Maybe there is a misunderstanding going on with this younger female energy. Let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the Factor Infinite and Unknown. We're going to set it down right here with Tiny Bob Ross right on top. Happy little Bob. And now we're not going to look at that card until the very end. All right. It will tie everything together and it will give us the confirmation that we need. Okay. If you have a prediction for that card, please put something down in the comments. All right. Any point during the reading, if you have a hunch or a guess, leave that in the comments. All right. Let's take a look around the room, because what we see are two major arcana energies, three actually. We see the Empress, we see the Sun, and the universe. Okay. So this is very interesting. This is about a life path for you. This is kind of about you achieving a kind of enlightenment here, right? About the true nature of your path. I think it's also shining a lot of light on whatever this situation was with this younger female energy. I feel like you're sort of a caregiver for other people, and this is someone toward whom you've been sort of giving care, right? So it could be a child, it could be a coworker, it could be maybe a younger sibling or something like this, right? But I feel as if it's somebody that you were responsible for, or somebody that you were helping, and I don't think they appreciated you. I don't think that they treated you fairly, or they took you for granted, or that you were, I don't know if you were financially supporting someone and they took advantage of that, okay? And it's very difficult for you to let go of that, as I think it would be for anybody. And that's the Three of Swords there. It's kind of, the Three of Swords is saying there's something in the past that you've got to let go of. And it seems like it is this past disappointment. Okay. But see, this is in your future position. It's kind of saying that you're not ready to do that now. But, perhaps in the near future, you're going to be ready to do that. Okay. We have a little bit of fire. We've got water and water. We've got air and air. And we've got earth and earth. Okay. Now, with the, let's talk about the fire underneath everything, right? Because the fire, this is a card called victory. And it's within you. It's kind of like, for one, it's this impulse for you to be right. It's like you know that you have right on your side. It's kind of like, that somebody wronged you. You have the, let's say, the morally correct position. And so why should you have to forgive somebody? You know what I mean? It kind of feels like, no, they did something wrong and they should suffer the consequences. And I'm not going to forgive anybody. And so we get into this mode where it's just we're kind of angry because we've been treated poorly or unfairly. Somebody has taken advantage of us or wronged us, and we don't feel like we should have to be okay with that, right? But I feel like this person might be a family member. I feel like it is somebody that you care about, yeah. And so we sort of have to match that up with our Six of Cups. Six of Cups is that family. It is the community. It is this feeling of, you know what, we're kind of all in this together, and there is a bond between us. Even though with the Six of Wands, I feel kind of stubborn about it, and I don't want to let somebody get away with treating me poorly. There does need to be consequences. Because really, we don't want to feel as if we are put into a defensive position. We don't want to feel like we are diminished in any way, right? We want to feel as if we are whole again. We don't want to give the other person an inch, So the Six of Wands becomes this. We're kind of looking at thing as a competition. We're looking at this thing like somebody has treated us unfairly, and we want to come out on top. We've got to restore the balance here. We need to be made whole again. So that person has to suffer. That person has to accept the consequences of their actions, right? And we can look at the Princess of Swords. Now, I don't know that this is necessarily a younger female energy in your life, but this, it doesn't have to be gender specific. It doesn't really even have to be another person, okay? Because this is generally this idea that somebody has, or life in general, right, has treated us unfairly. That something has happened to us that we feel we need to recover from. We want to be made whole again. So we want there to be somebody to blame. Okay? But what the Princess of Swords is all about is somebody who's kind of learning their way, trying to figure things out. So if there was this intense disappointment in this person, or in life, or in a particular situation for you, or however it's manifesting, it wasn't really intentional. And nobody set out to take advantage of you. But it's kind of like saying, okay, this person may have an excuse, but they still need to pay. There still should be consequences, even if it was something that they didn't intend to do. And this gives us that kind of a little bit of moral ambiguity here, where it's kind of a philosophical question. Well, if somebody doesn't intend to hurt you, but they still hurt you, what should be the punishment? Right? How long should we shun them before we say, okay, you paid your dues? And because it is a family member, it's kind of like we want to give the person the benefit of the doubt. We want to say, okay, well, they didn't mean to do it, so we don't have to punish that person. We don't have to stop talking to them. We don't have to cut off their financial support or whatever, We don't have to kick them out of the house, that sort of thing. But there needs to be some sort of consequences, because otherwise we can all kind of use that as an excuse when we do something wrong in life. We can say, well, I didn't mean it. but our actions still have consequences, and I think that we all have to be responsible for those. So it's kind of a weird situation for you, because I feel like it is a family member. I feel like they've done something that really, really disappointed you. But at the end of the day, it's kind of we still want to offer our support and our love. We still want the family to sort of stay together, right? But with the Three of Swords, you're having a difficult time kind of forgiving and letting go. So this may be manifesting even as we kind of we're a little passive aggressive. So sometimes we bring it up and kind of throw it in their face, But I think that you're coming to a point where you're realizing that they didn't do it intentionally. And even if this isn't a person, maybe this is just our experience of life, that life has been treating us unfairly sometimes, and there really is no one to blame. And we can either look at life as, I've been put in a compromised position and I have to fight my way back to being whole again. And it puts us in that sort of competitive thing where it's either I get to the top or I'm going to be pushed down to the bottom, right? And so we start to worry about that. And we start to think, well, I've got to assert myself and I've got to fight to get what is owed to me. Otherwise, I'm going to continually be taken advantage of by life, just generally by life, But the Six of Cups is a card of pleasure, right? It is a card of not being disappointed, okay? So the Five of Cups is disappointment. The Six of Cups is pleasure. So we have kind of an opposite thing going on. And it may be that with these two cards together that we're expecting a whole lot out of this other person or out of life, right? That we're expecting perhaps too much. Okay? In other words, this is somebody that we don't feel like should ever make a mistake. Right? And so when something disappoints us in their behavior or in our interaction with them or whatever, and maybe this, this Princess of Swords is you. Maybe you're holding yourself to this idea of perfection that anytime you make a mistake, it's really difficult for you to let go of it. Are we that kind of a perfectionist? Right? Are we sort of externalizing this and thinking, well, I can't believe I did that. I should have done better than that. Right? We have this Six of Cups, this perfect sort of person. And whenever there is a Five of Cups, there's a disappointment. A mistake has been made. Things are not perfect. We then get into this, Three of Swords where it's hard to let go of that. And even in the Six of Wands, there's an idea of perfection. And even in the card of the universe itself, there is this idea of perfection. And I think that it is a grand aspiration for us to always do the right thing and always be the right person and to sort of behave perfectly, to feel, to feel perfectly and to have perfect intentions and never make a mistake. But we realize the Princess of Swords still learning. We're giving ourselves here, I think, the freedom to make mistakes. It's okay that we don't do everything perfectly all the time because, you know what? The Princess of Swords is someone who is still learning. It's like a squire. It's like a knight in training, right? It's like a pupil. It's a student. There's no expectation that you're going to do everything right all the time. It's like a child, really. And I think that's why we have this as our example, is because if we're a parent, and you have a child, it is not reasonable at all to have this kind of expectation for that child to always behave perfectly. They're a child. That's their job, to make mistakes and to learn, right? But if they make mistakes and we take it personally, it creates a real mess, So we don't hold, we really don't hold anybody. There's some people that in life, they should know better, adults, right? But even when we're talking about ourselves or a child of ours, we don't have this expectation of perfection. We have that ideal. I want them to be, as perfect as possible. I want them to learn and grow and never make any mistakes in life, right? But that's not reasonable, is it? So we all make mistakes. We all can accept or try to accept that we're all students. We're all just kind of winging it, right? We're all learning as we go here. And we would not hold a child to this unreasonable standard of perfection because they're a child, that they're learning as they go. But we all are. Okay? So I think this is really a reading about forgiveness, whether it's forgiving ourselves, a child, the world, co-workers, friends, family, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that we give ourselves and other people the freedom to be human and to make some mistakes. Now, we want to be aware and cautious about the intentionality here, right? Are people doing kind of rotten things because they feel like they can get away with it, or because they know that we're going to forgive them and keep feeding into it and we're going to enable that behavior, right? Or is it kind of an honest mistake? Is it somebody who's still learning and they made a mistake on the computer at work or whatever and things went bad and it's a big old mess, right? But they didn't do it on purpose. They didn't do it with any kind of malice. But how do we make that determination too, you know? So, very interesting cards here. The Five of Cups is definitely that disappointment where somebody's behavior was not impeccable, whether it was yours or a child, coworker, friend, family member. And it was disappointing. This behavior was less than perfect, and we felt something about that. We felt disappointed. We felt, we felt sadness. We felt loss. All these things, you know. And that's normal, and that's okay, and we're supposed to feel that. And I think that if this is us, well, we did something less than impeccable, and yeah, I feel bad about it. I didn't do the right thing. I didn't do the best thing I could. And I feel bad about it. And that's okay. There's a reason why we have that emotion. There's a reason why I will do something in life, and I'll realize that, I really made a mistake on that one. I treated somebody poorly, or I made a bad decision, in the car driving. I didn't give somebody the courtesy that I should have, or I said something a little bit less than ideal to a friend or family member, or whatever the case was. We have the ability to feel that disappointment in ourselves, as well as feeling that disappointment in other people. I think it's all really about how we express that too. So we have the air energy with the Princess of Swords, and how are we communicating that? If we're disappointed in someone, how do we let them know that we're disappointed in them? And are we really communicating that, you're not allowed to make mistakes, that I have this expectation that you're going to be absolutely perfect all the time, and I'm very disappointed in you, right? How are we communicating that, and what is that doing to the other person as well? And, on the same token, how are we doing that to ourselves? Are we taking it so personally that we can't let it go? And we get that Three of Swords. Are we bringing it up again? Are we thinking about it the very next day? Are we conveying this energy to this other person or to ourselves that you're not going to be forgiven for that? That you did something wrong, and there are consequences, and mostly those consequences are emotional, right? And they're emotional consequences. That, when you're a kid, you do something wrong, your parents get angry at you, and now you feel that shame for doing something wrong, right? And then maybe you got banned from the TV, or you're on restriction, or you're grounded or something, and that's whatever, that's fine. But to feel as if, your parents are angry with you or disappointed in you, that's the real consequence. Yeah. So we have to kind of ask ourselves, how forgiving are we? And if we're taking it personally, then we're really going to put in that effort to make sure that the other person suffers for it. You know what I mean? But if we try not to internalize it, then it, it becomes, if we detach from it a little bit and not take it personally, I feel like we're able to respond in a way that feels a little bit more balanced. If we're personally affected by it, we're going to react personally, But if we stay detached, then we're going to kind of have this idea of going to do what is really I'm going to be more thoughtful in this situation. Does this make sense to you? Okay. It's kind of like when your kid does something wrong, and I can either get really mad about it and really make sure that kid knows that I'm mad, or I can try not to take it personally and just convey the lesson in a more responsible way. Yeah. Because the Three of Swords, it's hard for us to let something go. I think that we do take it personally. And I think maybe something has happened in your life very recently and you're not quite ready to let it go yet. Maybe we don't dish out we don't respond yet, right? Maybe this is the idea that we put a little space in between our response, that we don't react to the situation until we're able to detach from it a little bit, so that we can perhaps use this Six of Wands as a way to react to something in a way that's going to be of benefit to everybody, a way that's going to return to wholeness, that's going to restore a balance, and that's going to not compromise the harmony, right? We want the lesson to sink in. We want the person or ourselves to learn from what happened. But we're not trying to deepen the wound, right? I think it's our job to return things to the balance. If something is a Five of Cups, it's out of balance, it's sort of our job to bring things back into balance, which means bring ourselves back into that realm of proper or acceptable behavior or whatever, and to sort of restore the love and to maintain the harmony and the resonance and the flow in the family or in the workplace or within ourselves, right? And so really it's about restoring the harmony and not trying to kind of deepen that wound, because that Three of Swords is kind of a deep wound, The Universe card at the top here is really, I think, showing the different levels that this is taking place. I think that this is something that's happening in your life with another person, but I think it's a reflection also of how we sort of deal with ourselves, and it's also a reflection of how we deal with the world in general, with everybody, not just this particular person, not just ourselves, but with the world as a whole. Okay. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. It is free, doesn't cost anything. Leave a comment, let me know where in the world you're watching from. Yeah. General energy becomes this Empress card. And the Empress really is this kind of, it's a very maternal energy. It's a mothering kind of thing. So this really could be about you being a parent. Okay, this is not gender specific, but this is, it's an Empress and not an Emperor. Okay, it is not. It's not necessarily our job to teach. It's not our job in this case, in this instance. This isn't, I think, about us giving instructions about the right way to behave in an active, sort of extended way. This is more about allowing ourselves or the other person, allowing them to learn. Giving people the space to make a mistake, and if we have to communicate and to sort of demonstrate how that was not the right decision or the right behavior, it's like we're not lecturing. We're allowing experimentation. We're allowing space to try and make a mistake and to figure it out. So it's like we're conveying this energy that says it's okay that you're not perfect. Right? To ourselves, to our kids, to the world around us. It's okay. It's okay that we make mistakes. Because if we're not making any mistakes, then we're not really doing anything. There's no growth, right? And so the Empress is one that provides the field, provides the space. We're not out here lecturing the classroom. It's the lab, right? This is the lab portion of the course, where everybody is experimenting, everybody's trying to figure it out. And this is a safe place where you can try and you can make a mistake. There's no love lost, It's good. I'm happy that you did something different, and you wanted to figure out, well, what would happen if I said this thing or did that way or pushed that button, And you want yourself, your kids, and other people in your life to feel comfortable doing that. Yeah. And that's why you've got this Empress as your general energy, because you're trying to give people the space where they feel safe to try and fail. They feel safe to make a mistake. Yeah. I think that's very important, because we're trying to foster growth. We're trying to encourage growth, right? And I think that we can apply this everywhere. This is a ubiquitous energy all throughout the universe, in any relationship. A relationship with ourself, with our pets, our plants, our people. Our students, our children, our parents, our brothers and sisters, and everybody, our coworkers, right? Our friends, strangers. Of course, we need the fire energy, because we have to be able to discern whether this is somebody who's intentionally disrupting things and doing things, with that intentionality on purpose, to disrupt the harmony, or if this is just somebody who is making a kind of an honest mistake, right? So we need that discernment. But what we're trying to do is foster growth. We're trying to grow. We're trying to strengthen our relationships. We're trying to grow. Let's say this is our children, we want them to grow sort of big and strong, with a good foundation, and with this the ability to solve problems, the ability to try and fail and try again, with that freedom to make a mistake. Because if they're never making a mistake, they're never pushing boundaries. They're never going beyond what they've already been what they know they're already good at. So when a kid does something different, or when we do something different, or our friend or coworker does something different, in an effort to push the boundary to go beyond their capabilities, to stretch their powers a little bit, that's how we get growth. Okay, so maybe this is a business thing for you. Maybe this is a creative path for you. And you did something that really just made a mess out of things. And you get really hard on yourself. Yeah, and it's difficult for you to let that go. I kind of feel like this is some kind of a mistake that you made. But you know what? This is how we grow. This is how we learn. And this is how we're going to really make progress. See, now the 8 becomes the 9 of Pentacles. And we're trying to expand our capabilities. We're trying to push the boundaries of ourselves, because we're trying to grow into our very best selves. Right? We're trying to grow into our true selves, the best version of ourselves, that Sun card. Okay? And like we said at the very beginning with that Princess of Swords, we're learning. We're learning and we're growing and we're making progress here. But we have to be able to forgive our mistakes and forgive the mistakes of others, and to know whether it's just somebody who's just causing trouble just for the heck of it, right? But we have to try and fail, and we have to give ourselves and other people that we love the freedom, the safety, and the love, that really is required for people to feel safe trying. And that's how we're going to raise the collective consciousness. That's how we're really, all of us together are going to, step into our future, step into our true selves, right? The Sun card is clarity. It's being able to see the progress, right, from the past till now. See that we've made a lot of progress, over the course of our lives. And even to be able to look back at our own history and think of all the mistakes that we've made, right? And, maybe you grew up in an environment where you had a lot of room to make mistakes, and you weren't treated differently for trying and failing, or for doing something wrong, or for disappointing your parents or something, that you didn't feel like they loved you any less, for the mistakes that you made. So you're trying to be that way for others in your life now. Maybe you're a teacher, maybe you're a parent, but this is, I think this is a real path for you. This is an expression of who you are. And I think that the 3 of Swords here, it might take you a day or two to let go of whatever happened, but you're going to, and you're going to approach this in a way that is healthy and and really shows a lot of maturity and a lot of wisdom in you. Okay. Now let's look at our mystery card. I think maybe it'll be a 6 of swords, right? We have the wands, cups. Maybe we need a 6 of swords or a 6 of discs. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments down below. Let's take a look. Well, it's the Lover's card, right? It's the Lover's card. And this doesn't mean romance, right? This is about a commitment that we have to the other, right? Whether this is a kid or a friend or a family member or a coworker or to ourselves, it's that commitment. It's saying that there's no, we're so stable and so committed in this relationship that we have freedom to make mistakes. And it's not like a kid who is just so worried about making a mistake because they feel like their parents aren't going to love them again, right? That it really is this kind of existential dread. This is feeling so safe in your relationship that you can say, you know what, I messed up. This is what happens. Maybe it's a big deal, maybe it's not such a big deal, but there is no threat to the actual relationship itself. Unless, of course, there's that intentionality and that sort of thing. But I don't feel that this is a romantic thing for you, but it could be in a way, right? It could be this idea that, there is safety and stability in this relationship, but there does have to be accountability. Okay? We do have to take responsibility for what mistakes we make and learn and grow and make progress, afterward. But I feel like this is the strength of that bond that you have, whether this is with yourself, with God, goddess, deity, with maybe a spouse, maybe a friend, family member, this younger female energy. And it feels like there's a safety and stability in that relationship that allows for this kind of communication and this kind of acceptance, really. Yeah. Anyway, we're going to do an extended reading. We'll do a hexagram from the I Ching. We'll do some oracle cards. There's a link in the corner. There's a link down below. New readings for Cancer Tuesday and Friday. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It is totally free. Leave a comment if you are so inclined. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we're all in this together.